Hi, in this video I will read to you about the conversations I've had with my children. I saw a documentary about President Nixon, and he was the one that opened China. And the idea back then, not just his, but everyone's idea was we will sell toothbrushes to 1 billion Chinese. And the result that happened was the opposite. All right, so here we have some pages that I use them to start conversations with my children. Genesis is the what? The blank book of the Bible. And they would say it's the first book of the Bible. Who was the patriot that said, "Give me liberty or give me death"? Patrick Henry. And then who said, "Greater love has no man than this, than to lay down one's life for his friends"? In the book of John 15:13. That's right. That was Jesus. And then I did a drawing. President Kennedy on TV. Ask not what your parents can do for you, but what you can do for your parents. Actually, President Kennedy said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Benito Juarez was a president in Mexico, and he said, I believe he was the first native, or what some people call the Indians, Indian native people. He was the native of Mexico, the first native president, I believe. Not Spanish, that is. He looked Indian. Benito Juárez, México. El respeto al derecho ajeno es la paz. My grandpa told me this one. It says, the respect to others' rights is peace. The first thing that comes to mind is, don't go after a married woman. She belongs to someone else. Don't go after a married man. He belongs to someone else. That's one way to keep peace. Here are some other sayings. Good fences make good neighbors. Here's one from Benjamin Franklin. A penny saved is a penny earned. And then there were two more from another Mexican president, Porfirio Díaz. Porfirio Díaz. 1. Pobre México, tan lejos de Dios y tan cerca de Estados Unidos. Oh, poor Mexico, so far away from God and so close to the United States. And the second one he said was, la guerra es la manera que tiene Dios de enseñarle geografía a los norteamericanos. The war is the method that God has to teach geography to the North Americans. I would not use the word God in that one. I like the first one. Commander MacArthur, I shall return. And in this documentary, they talked about something that I think he was a general, General MacArthur could get Baker acted. I'll show you what he did. I did a drawing. There was a desk, and he chopped it up with his axe. He did that as soon as he found out that he had been replaced by someone else, right? So that as soon as he got the message that he was being replaced, he chopped up his own desk with an axe. And then he dictated a telegram, was it? To congratulating the new person that was going to take his post. So I see nothing wrong with breaking the door, yet I got Baker acted because my wife is materialistic and she sees the value of a door. So now I just started spanking my daughter. Well, I had spanked my son. He's 9. I spanked him one time this year. And I spanked my daughter for the first time in her life. Because this is disrespectful. If she talks to me in a disrespectful way, I'll just look at her. And I won't nickel and dime her. I won't spank her each time. Or if she accumulates enough disrespect on a daily basis, then she's going to have another one. You see, I want her to be an excellent dad, so I prefer to punch a wall that later on we can all fix and learn carpentry, things like that. And at the same time, I'd be testing my physical power, and I would be letting out the frustration. However, these doctors and police officers, and your wife probably, don't believe in that method of expressing anger or frustration. So, on with our show here. Who was the president that said, "I'm not a crook"? It was President Nixon. I think it had something to do with wiretapping or recording conversations. And also, Glenn W. Turner went to jail eventually. And in his book, it seems to be that it was because President Nixon asked money for his campaign, and Glenn W. Turner did not give it, or did not give enough, or something went on like that. To which my grandpa said, before they ask you, you should have given. My grandpa understood politics. He mentioned that if someone wants your building and you don't want to sell it, then a month later a truck will crash into the building and it will be worthless. So the way I would do it, though, I would just move. The Bible says, let others steal from you. I'll make another video. And in politics, my grandpa said, someone asked him, Salvador, are you going to vote for me? And he said, of course. And grandpa, he mentioned that only he had the right to know who he had voted for. Something like that. All right, I'm going to let a cat in. Talk to you later.